Hey, color beams. Welcome back to Colorful Situations. I am Sunny.
Hey, and you know your girl, this is Leah. Colorful Situations is a podcast where we have a conversation about love, marriage, and everything in between. And in doing so, we also talk about our emotions and what color we have on that emotion. Look down into the comments because we have linked our color wheel that we use, and we just want to identify what feeling we're bringing to this situation. So, you know, when you identify things, you can communicate it with your partner or whoever you're interacting with so that you really know what is the root cause of how you're feeling, right? It may be that you're scared, you're mad, you're joyful, whatever it is, figure out how you really truly feel.
Mm-hmm. So, how are you feeling today?
Yeah.
What color are you feeling?
So today I am feeling just a tad bit embarrassed, just a tad bit uh we're gonna talk about a topic that I may expose a lot of things, So I'm a little bit embarrassed here. So I'm gonna be purple.
Me, you know me, I try to lay low, try to keep low. Today, I'm feeling enthusiastic though.
Okay.
Because again, I love what we're doing. I like where we're going. I like how we moving. I like how we working. So I am yellow. I'm feeling yellow. Okay. Let's see if I can get yellow on the thing.
All right. Yeah. So we just gonna go ahead and jump into this situation, right? Have you ever been in a situation where you felt like you are just giving and giving and giving and giving?
Yes.
And giving.
Yes.
So we're gonna talk about overflow. Overflow. Should we be really giving and pouring in? You know, a lot of times people say, you hear a lot about, pouring into this, pouring into that person, pouring into your work. Should we really be pouring? Or should people just really take our overflow? Just what we have left. Let them trickle off of whatever is coming out of you. How do we do that? And if we are to give to people or pour into people so much, how do we do it without depletion?
Good topic. So originally, I said, yeah, I could give my all. Yeah, you should give your all. Keeping in mind for me, when I think about things, I'm thinking about my marriage. I mean, of course, I feel like you should put your all into the things that you like to do, the things that you love, the people that you love, and things like that. But here on Colorful Situations, where we talk about love, marriage, and everything in between, I'm talking about marriage right now.
Okay.
Let me be clear. Yeah. So, for me, like I said originally, for me, it's I'm giving 100. I'm giving 100%. Because this is my person, this is my wife, I love her, I want her to know me, I want her to know that I'm open to her, I want her to know that I want to be open, I want to pour out my all, and it's something that we talked about before, I just thought about, so that she feels like she could do the same for me.
Yeah.
Because how could you not open up to someone that's not open to you, that's not freely giving themselves to you like that? I mean, for me, that's just kind of it. You're the person I decided to be with forever, ever. So why not give it all? Why not give it all? Now, you did say until depletion, that's where you have to put those, you have to be sensible about it. Now, of course, I'm not gonna give so much that I have nothing left for myself, because I'm no good to anyone that way.
Right.
And I would hope that my wife wouldn't even allow me to get there. Even though I have been there in the past and we came through it. I was just I have felt that way, but it was actually something that I had to do. I had to reframe my way of thinking so that I could change how I was giving, how much I was giving to my wife.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That is such a thing, right? First of all, for me, overflow is something that you have to have within you, right? But when you are giving it so much, you're giving it so much, you have nothing left, right? If you're doing it to depletion. So whatever you thought you may be giving to somebody, you're really not giving them anything because you don't have anything. And how can you pour into anybody if you don't have any reserve in you anyway, right? But when you're talking about giving your all, I have been that person that just gave so much, just gave everything, no matter what. Like how you said you would want it to come back, or you want to have a balance on it. I had no balance, right? I had no balance. I'm jumping in with everything. Love, you can have my loyalty, you can have my time, you can have just giving, and giving. And for me, it just came from a root cause of that's how I was raised. I was raised in a family that said that you give no matter what. Like, you got food, your people around you got food. If your people, you got a coat, your people around you got a coat. So, and this is also me growing up watching women give of themselves so much. Like my mom, my aunties, they were so servant at heart where they just took care of everybody. Like my mom didn't let us do anything. Hardly nothing. Like she just cooked, she washed clothes, like she did everything. So me coming from that type of family and me coming into something that was just first nature to me to just give, I was taken advantage of, and I did give to completion, like fully depleted, until I had to learn that same love that I want to give to everybody else, I got to give to myself first. I have to give to myself first. Now, your girl is in transition and she's learning. She's growing up. She is learning. And now I know that, hey, I have to be able to have a balance with that.
Well, in thinking of, you saying how you grew up and what you learned, it's not such a bad thing. It's not such a bad thing to be a giver. Now, we've had this conversation before, and we know me. I'm pretty selfish. But I don't think it's a bad way, because people that know me know that I'm a beautiful person inside and out.
Yes, you
are. And I talk a lot of noise and all of this other kind of stuff, but ultimately I'm selfish with my stuff, with my things, with my people. Mm-hmm. So in talking about this marriage, I don't have kids. Mm-hmm. I have my fur babies, but I've never had to give, because I grew up independent. I think. I mean, even though I have 2 younger brothers and an older sister, we're all separate. We all have things going on. Even growing up, everybody had something to do. My mama had to go to work. My mama was at work. So we had to do things around the house for ourselves when she wasn't there. I had to do stuff at home before she got home. So we didn't have the luxury of having all of those things. But when you get home, of course, she cooked and all this other kind of stuff. But as far as, no, we had our independence and we had things that we had to do. I just don't know where I got this selfishness from. I think it's from wanting what I want, getting what I want.
Yeah.
Knowing how to get it, going to get it, and knowing and feeling like I'm the only one that was going to give it to me. Yeah. And that's not to say that I didn't have support and I didn't have a good family and I didn't have friends and all this other kind of stuff, but I'm the only one that could do it like I want to do it.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of what I had going on.
And I get that. So good thing segue into selfishness, because the first question that I really had was boundaries. Like, in order for us to really have an overflow, in order for us to have something for ourselves, we have to have boundaries, right? So is having boundaries being selfish? And does it mean that you don't care?
Having boundaries is not selfish, because people don't know where to stop if you don't have boundaries. Yeah. They will take everything you have. They will take everything you are. Mm-hmm. They will take everything that you will be if you don't give them a boundary. And I think about that because my wife is like that. My wife will give you the shirt off her back. Me, I got to ask questions. When you going to give it back? What were you going to do if you didn't have me? Am I your last resort? I ask a lot of questions, but my wife is not like that. She is just a giver.
Yeah.
Just because that's how she was brought up. You take care of your sisters and brothers no matter what, family first, But you have to have boundaries or people will take advantage of you. Long story short. For me, I have boundaries. My boundaries are pretty much black and white for people that know me and for people that don't. It doesn't mean that I don't care. It just means that I know what I want. I know how I want to feel. I know what I need. And I mean, if you want to go over my boundaries, it's fine. I'll just know you from a distance.
Yeah.
I know you from a distance. I'll talk to you from a distance. Yeah. If so, it's just, no, boundaries are good. And I care. Boundaries are good and I care at the same time. What you got?
Okay. Well, y'all already know that I didn't have any, but I had to learn them, right? I had to learn them. And the way that I learned that boundaries was okay is being meshed and put with someone who had nothing but boundaries.
Not me, y'all.
Not my baby over here. No.
Oh,
but in being in a relationship where me coming from not having them or not knowing how to communicate them, not knowing how to communicate what I needed. And then going into a relationship with someone who knew very well what they wanted, knew how to say what they wanted, and will say it all the time. Like, nope, I got a hard no. Nope, that's a hard no. No. And so much so to where I was just like, what, why? But do you love me? But if you love me, you wouldn't have a hard no. But if you love me, you could consider this. But if you love me, I love you, but it's no. Like, you're not going to step over what I need for myself. And now I realize that was just the universe way of saying, Liv, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you that no is a word. I'm going to show you that you can have boundaries. And I'm going to show you this because this is what you're going to be doing in the future. Because you're working. I see you wanting to do the work. I see you getting to know yourself. And getting to know yourself, you got to cut some things off. Because your life is not your life right now. What you have done without boundaries is let somebody tell you what your life is. So now you got to get to what your life is, what you want it to be. And in order to do that, you got to have boundaries.
Something that you just said, those boundaries that are hard no's. I have hard no's. For my wife, not really, but also in keeping an eye out for those boundaries that are it's just something that you don't, a boundary is something that you don't want to, but when you put boundaries on things that are,
come on, say it. I know what you're trying to say.
I'm not going to say it. When you continue to grow and putting setting your boundaries and making your boundaries, just keep in mind that those things that are really important, like those little things that you can overlook, or that someone, those little things. And I want to be clear, I know that little things can turn into big things, so we have to keep an eye out for that too. But putting a boundary on something just because you don't want to do it, it's something else.
It's a difference in a want and a need, right? Yes. Like you putting boundaries on things that you just really want, and not the things that you really need, that really will sustain you to be the best person that you're supposed to be. I know exactly what you're saying, and you're right. You got to be very careful with that. But it also goes back to what I was just saying about knowing who you really are and what you really need for yourself, right? Yeah. And being self-aware. That's part of it too.
That's all of it.
Right? Being self-aware. So my next thing is, does love mean that you have to give your all? Like, for me, I'm always quoting, the good word that says, oh, it's sacrifice, it's this, is that, and that. But I would always hold on to sacrifice. Does love really mean that you got to give your all?
For me, yes. You got to give your all. Because if I'm getting half of you, okay, you're happy before you get with somebody. When you get together, they add to your happiness. Therapy 101.
Right.
Therapy 101. People add to your happiness. I give my love, all of my love, genuinely to my wife because she deserves it. She is one of the best people I know. And I'm hell on wheels. So say something. My wife deserves all of the love that I have.
Yeah.
I think that's all I got on it.
Yeah. Hey, drop the mic on that. I can't even add nothing else to that, because the fact that you just said she deserves it, hand down. Like, you know what I mean? You pick this person, they do deserve it. They do deserve for you to give your all. All does look like a whole lot of different things too. You know what I mean? So all could be your time. All could be your listening. All could be you just being present and just showing up. But time, commitment, and showing up and being present doesn't take away from you, your personality, right? Those are the things that you have to be aware of. You know what I mean? Being depleted. Like if I'm giving my all to the point to where I'm just not live anymore, and I just don't show up, and I shrink myself or be invisible so that I love this person so much and this person can just be, I'm just shrinking. Now that's taken away from live, and that's too much. But you're all in all these other aspects that will show somebody that you deserve it, and I'm giving you everything that you deserve. That's 100 hands down what you should be doing.
While you were just talking, it made me think about the person that you're with. Y'all should be pouring into each other anyway. Y'all should be poured into each other anyway. So if you're depleting yourself, you should never be depleting yourself with your partner, because you should be pouring into each other anyway. You should be filling me up when I'm down. I should be filling you up when you're down. You're supposed to be catching me. I'm catching you.
Yeah.
We playing volleyball, tennis, whatever.
Yeah. Pickleball these days.
Pickleball for the people. Yeah. We should be pouring into each other, because then we'll both be full. We'll both be love. We'll both be full. We'll both be love. We'll both be able. We'll just both be us.
Yeah.
We'll be we.
Yeah.
We're love. If we both full.
Amen. Talk about it. Talk about it.
That's all I got.
So She done dropped the mic. That's all I got to. So at this point, we always want to do a check-in on whether or not you are in this colorful situation of just not having an overflow because you're depleting yourself and giving too much. So if you feel that way while we were talking and you was like, man, that was last night. Man, I felt that way like so-and-so. I told so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. You're in the red and you are in a colorful situation.
Now, if you're like me and you've been in the situation and it kind of bring up something, because it still brings up something in me because people still backslide.
Yes.
So every so often I'm yellow because it brings something up in me. Every so often I go back to yellow,
Right.
I try to stay in the green, which means that we've gotten past it. We've been there, done that, but I go back to yellow sometimes.
Yeah.
I go back to yellow.
For real. So, red, you are in it. You going through it. You hot in the paint. Yellow, you may feel it every now and then. It may look like it can slide into that situation if you remember it. Green, it's all good in the hood. Ain't nothing going on with you in that situation. Mm-hmm. So now we come to the resolve, right? Now that we know these are the things that could be going on and we're talking about all these things, how do we stop ourselves from going to depletion, right? So the first thing that I have is first, give yourself some grace. Give yourself some grace because no matter what, talking to myself, when you're going through these transitions to learn how to have boundaries and things like that, you may fall off a little bit, but it's okay. Or you may be listening to this and being like, dang, why do I do that? Why don't I have boundaries? Give yourself some grace because it's not, everybody doesn't have it. It's not innate in everybody to do it.
And it's a learning process. Mm-hmm. Life is learning. You're learning how to do this. Mm-hmm. You might fall off, get back up and do it again. That's part of your grace. You might say, oh, well, yeah, don't come over this line this one last time. That's okay. That's okay. Just start over again tomorrow. I mean, that's it. Yeah. For me, I say be open to change.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I think that's for a lot of things. Just be open to making some people mad. Be open to getting some eyes rolled. Be some doors slammed. Be open to it. And also, while you're being open to people responding to these new boundaries, you have to give them grace too.
Yes.
Now, it ain't going to last long. Don't let it last too long.
But give them a chance.
Give them a tincture winch.
Give them a drop.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I say.
And I would say the last thing too would be learning yourself and knowing yourself. Really spend some time to figure out what it is you want so that you can stand firm and say no. Because you cannot have a boundary without no. If no does not come easy to you, then those boundaries are not going to stand. Or if you feel like, well, if I say this, then they'll go away. Or if I do this, then they're not going to be, or they'll be upset.
Okay.
You're going to have to be in your upsetness because I'm going to say no. It's a full sentence. Don't have to explain. You can just say no.
So since we want this to be an interactive podcast, we are going to give y'all some questions here and we're going to put them down in the comments. And we want y'all to go in and tell us your stories. Let us in. I done told y'all some stuff. Okay. So the first question is, have you ever found yourself in a situation like this? Mm-hmm. Have you ever found yourself giving until you just down on the ground? If so, how did you get out of it? How did you get out of giving? Did somebody help you? Did you read a book? Did you go to church? Talk to your mama? Well, I mean, what happened? Did somebody realize that they were pulling so much from you that they came to you and apologized? That's
a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good feeling. I can imagine that'd be a good feeling too. Lastly, when you came out of it, what did you do or what are you doing now to keep yourself from falling into that same cycle? Because again, it's easy to, as they say, backslide.
Yeah.
It's easy to backslide. So we're putting those down in the comments. Let us know. Comment. Let us know your stories. We want to talk about it.
Yes, for sure. And just remember that this is a community of color beings and nobody is here to judge, but these are just tips so that we can help somebody and somebody can help us. So the summary today, what we talked about was overflow, how to have an overflow, how to withstand, pouring into so much without just giving yourself, how to have boundaries, knowing what we want. Knowing that having boundaries does not mean that we don't care. It does mean that we love you, but we also love ourselves. And in doing so, there's certain things that we need and we have to speak up for them, right? So we did have some resolve. Some resolve was give yourself some grace, be open to change, and learn the word no. Make sure you know that no is a full sentence.
Thank y'all for tuning in today. Like, share, subscribe, and drop down in the comments. We'll be looking. And don't forget, not all colorful situations are the same,
but you have the power to change your hue.